Hello everyone, welcome back to Meathead Gaming. My name is Roland and today, this week's giveaway will be constituted by an AK-47 Jaguar field tested, but as you can see it looks very nice. All you have to do to be eligible to win this is to comment in the video in which you see this little part that you are seeing now, and to be subscribed to the channel. I wish everybody a strong 2019, and until next time, stay strong. I mean, I also read like Stephen King horror books, but that's besides the point. Okay, let's go on. Can you tell me your nickname story? I was around 7 years old. I have 3 siblings, 2 brothers and a sister. We were lucky enough to have a computer when we were young, and I started to play Quake and Action Quake, which was similar to CS, and I was really good at it. I shared the computer with my brother, so we had the same nickname. So I wanted to have my own nickname. I asked my older brother Robin to figure out a nickname for me, and he said that he needs a few days to think about it. When I came to him in a few days, I was really excited about what kind of nick I am going to have, but he completely forgot about me. Oh man, tough life. He was afraid to disappoint me since I was a little kid, so he looked into a monitor and he was downloading a program called Get Right or something closer to that. So he wrote me that on a paper. And I was very happy to have my own nickname. I was changing the way I write Get Right and tried to find a way to make it look fancy. I didn't understand the meaning of the word those days, but later when I was 14, 15 and telling a story about my nickname to a friend, I realized that my brother didn't really care and randomly picked that name. I'm 28 now and my nickname is for a young kid, and of course I can't change it now, but at least it's not something common, which is right. He has a very unique nickname. Having won a major, how do you keep your drive and motivation alive to compete afterwards? Well, I need to remember that feeling. It's been a while. Anyway, my motivation never went down. To be on top, you need to work as hard as you can. Like I said, I always played a lot to become better. I couldn't just stop playing because I want something. My motivation never sinks. I always want to get back to the game and play it more because I always want to win. I always want to be the best. I already did my legacy, but I want to make it bigger. I want everyone to know that Get Right is the hardest working pro, and that even if they aren't talented, they can work hard and achieve good results. This is very well spoken. This is a very nice thing to say, and it can provide a lot of encouragement to other ranked players that maybe are not as skilled or not as snappy, aimy as some of their other friends, which I know I wasn't. Very snappy aimer or something, but by working hard you can always get there through other means. I mean, you don't have to be the super aimer in every team. You can be a very good support player, you can be a very good in-game player, so there are things you can do. Look at Simple. A few years ago he was good but nothing special. When he put hard work together with his talent, he became literally the best player in world, along with Coldzera, Device, etc. Every night I see him play. Most players go to sleep after practice and he goes to play some FPL mixes. I feel very motivated to watch players like him. That's nice, that's nice. I mean, you have to work hard if you want to get better at the game. As I said before, you have to invest a lot of hours in it, and that's what I'm gonna do right now. I'm started doing that lately because I intend to start streaming maybe the second half of this year, so I want to be comfortable and confident with my game level. Although it's not a super high level, I want to be comfortable where I am and to be able to make quality content, because time, as I said before, is very valuable, and I don't want to waste your guys' time by watching some videos in which I don't give my best. I always want to give my best because, yeah, I appreciate you guys. So let's move on. Does salary affect on your motivation? When I was a kid, my father told me that money isn't everything. My dad worked hard for my family and mother didn't work much. She cared about us. She was a home mom. My father was always away. He wanted us to have everything. We had vacations 2 times per year and toys I wanted, but he always told me that money isn't everything. He worked not for the money. He worked because he wanted to make us happy. That's a very nice father to have. I started to play CS not because of money. I had $100 salary, but still I worked hard and my salary became bigger and bigger with the years. That's what sometimes I'm just gonna make a break here, make a pause here. That's what I always said, like, when you see younger players or like people from forums critiquing older players, for example Neo, when they were still playing for Virtus Pro, now they're not playing anymore, they were criticizing them because they were getting big salaries and they were like not performing so well. I always tell them, like, those Get Right, Forest, Neo and the old school players, those are the players that paved the way for this generation to be able to have a shit amount of money that they have every month for playing a video game, you know. And if players like Get Right, Neo and the other ones can stick around to have some fun, to compete and to get paid, that's very good for them. They have earned the right to have that. So people shouldn't criticize them just because they're still hanging around, although they're not in the top 5 teams in the world, you know. I mean, there are places for the players like that in other teams also. The experience that they have is it's a huge bag of experience that can help new talent form in a better way, and new talent save time on the development of their skill and get good, better, faster, which is always the best case scenario. I don't like to discuss my money, saying look how much I can make. I make good money, but still I know that I can make more, and there is no way my motivation can decrease because of money. Even if I always give the best presents to my girlfriend, go with her to fancy restaurants and do whatever we want, I prefer to save money, which is, I agree with him. I like the way he talks and the way he thinks. All my bonuses and prize money I try to save, so when I finish my career I won't need to go to work somewhere urgently. So I feel more relaxed thinking about my future, knowing that I have resources to make a new life if I stop playing. That's a smart thing to do. I mean, if you ask me, with the amount of money they are making, I would even invest it in real estate or something like that. Maybe just be your own boss the rest of your life, as I will be in a few years, but that's a long story. Having been as successful as you have been, did that success ever go to your head? I think through the years that has happened a few times. I didn't do it on purpose, but the older I got, I totally lost that feeling that I'm someone special. I meet people on the street who recognize me and I talk to them. I really enjoy meeting new people, getting to know them. Doesn't matter who they are, where are they from, and where they work. If you are nice to me, I'll be nice to you, and if you are interesting, I'll want to know more about you. Which is, it's a nice thing. It's a nice thing. His attitude, I think, is good towards his peers, his fans, I mean his followers, because not everybody is a fan, maybe people are following him, stuff like that. I think that's the best attitude that you can have. And I mean, of course, sometimes if you're very successful, that might go into your head. We're all just human at the end of the day, and no matter how good you are or you want to be, you're sometimes gonna mess up. But the important thing is that you realize afterwards that you made a mistake. Okay, chill down, you're just a man, just a human, just like everybody else, you know. You have success, that's fucking awesome, you have to appreciate that, but don't be asses to other ones just because you're making more money or stupid shit like that. Okay, can you tell me about your switch from 1.6 to CSGO? I think I was one of the few who liked it from the beginning. It was something fresh and new for me. It wasn't like 1.6, it was closer to Source and it was full of bugs, but still it was very interesting for me to play. Maps were pretty similar to 1.6, but all the physics were completely different, so that was no advantage for me. Everyone was on the same page, everyone was equally bad in this game. So it was really cool to explore this game every day. You find a sick nade, which no one knows right now for sure. Do you miss 1.6 when you started playing CSGO? I didn't miss the game, but I really missed what surrounded it. Yeah, the community was really awesome. If you're younger and you didn't play 1.6, the community was very nice. It was so nice to, after school or stuff like that, you just go in their server, you already know the people there. you're having fun, you're talking, you're chatting and stuff like that. It was nice. And there wasn't so much toxicity as there is nowadays. I don't know why people are so toxic when you play this game. I mean, literally, if I'm playing alone, out of 10 games, I'd say at least 6 are filled with at least one toxic player, and which he starts talking shit after 2 rounds. But what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You know. That's why I started playing DSCA. That's a little bit more. It's a little bit better. But then you meet people that think that they know everything, and they start criticize you and talk to you with an attitude, you know. And that's also not very good, but you can always mute them, so it's easy. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I didn't miss the game. The 1.6 community with all old players. I really hope that one day all the 1.6 guys meet somewhere at an after party. That would be very interesting for me to know how their lives are going. I know it won't happen, but if it does, I'll be the first one there. This is something very cool, and like after me and my friends stopped playing 1.6 because, you know, life happens, everybody went their own way. We always every now and then gather up and play the game 5v5 and talk shit to each other and stuff like that. It's a nice experience after all those years to bond again with the people that you have played with or played against. Yeah, it's a nice experience, and you should do it as long as you can. What's the difference between the old 1.6 community and the current CSGO community? Our community grew knowing that the game isn't the main stuff in life. We were more social. We were playing from the internet cafe. We were traveling, chilling, having fun together. We were on the same page. No one had a lot of money. If some had, they got it on the side. The game wasn't really like work. It was our passion. The game made us closer to each other in real life. That's why I miss the old guys, since I've spent a lot of good times with them. No one could beat NIP at the start of CSGO for a few years. How did you keep that high level? We played a lot. We'd win a tournament, come home and start to play even more. We practiced extremely hard. Also, I was lucky enough to have great teammates and a great organization behind us, so I could fully focus on myself. It was this combination of different factors that made us the best team back in that day. What was it that allowed other teams to catch up to NIP and start beating them a while back? On the one hand, our motivation maybe sank a bit, which is perfectly natural and normal when you stay on top for a big amount of time. I mean, you're human, you know. You're gonna drop off at one point because you just can't keep up your motivation to do so. It's much easier to be number 2 and to work hard and to really want to be number 1 than to achieve to be number 1 and then to sit on top. It's easier to get to the top than to sit on the top. So that's perfectly normal. We didn't put everything into our game like we did before. On the other hand, we didn't change our style or our tactics. So we just stopped improving our game while others improved really fast, and then they faced us. They knew how we played and what we were going to do, which is, yeah, how it's going. Okay, what was your best lineup besides your present day lineup? Our first lineup with Freiburg and Fiflaren was the best. Our mentality was close to 1.6. We didn't have high salaries. We were friends in real life and we put everything in to become better. We were living like rock stars, thinking only about each other and helping each other. We drank together, went out together and explored the world together. We did everything together and we were 100% a family. My second favorite lineup for me, I guess, was lineup with Pith when he stepped in instead of Fiflaren. It was because we still were close. Pith is a very funny person. It's really cool to play with him on a team, to travel with him and all that. Why we weren't a really strong in game, but our life was full of fun. What was your hardest loss and most enjoyable win? The hardest loss was against Vega Squadron when we played the qualifier for E-League. It was one of the first events where the Swiss system was used and we were going 1-2 and had a game versus Vega, who was a new team on the international level. We didn't respect them too much and we were punished for that. We lost the game and the event, and I had one of my worst games ever. I had a lot of problems in my personal life, and this loss was a top. The best win, of course, was our major win in 2014 in Cologne. We lost 2 major finals before that, and those days we started to play worse. I didn't feel my game at all. Freiburg played really well, so he boosted our morale and everyone stepped up. We didn't have any easy games. The scores were 2-1, 16-14 and overtimes. We played with our hearts, we put everything in that win, and the thing is that if we lost that final, we are done with that team. No one expected us to win, but we managed to do that. After all that, it was a big relief winning that tournament. I would love to go back there and feel that win again. That's why I'm afraid to quit playing, because I don't know how I will live without these inexpensible feelings, which is... I know what he talks about. If you ever played a LAN, competition LAN, those are freaking awesome. The adrenaline rushes you have when you are in a certain situations in the game, and when you make a clutch on LAN, I mean, you feel awesome. The feeling is great, and that's one of the feelings that I've really missed since I stopped playing competitively. But yeah, if you have the opportunity to play on LAN in a competition, just do it. And even if you're gonna be the last team there, just do it. Which CSGO scenes you like the most? Every scene is different. The American scene is fun to watch. We can find there's so many weird and uncommon stuff. And nades, you know. They have a lot of interesting streamers who are streaming officials, but they do it for fun, not to show high results, which is it's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I don't watch streams because I don't have the time for it, but I see how that might be interesting for viewers to see official matches being streamed, which is a little bit weird. I mean, it is fun for the players, but then if you stream it, if your competition might study those streams, they might study how you play. They might beat you easily the next game, but I guess since they stream it, they don't take it so seriously, so it doesn't matter. The American scene is not very scaled, but there are a lot of talented players who want to become better, and it's interesting to watch them. The most skilled scene is of course European. By European, I literally mean all regions with CIS as well, which is true. There are a lot of good players all over the Europe. Maybe they are not experienced like top teams, but they come out with some cool things. Every tier 2 or 3 team has something special which you didn't even think of. When I watch some of their moves, I'm thinking that I would never do that when NIP is playing, but when you are inexperienced, you don't have tier 1 limits where you are going to be instantly punished for your mistakes, which is, yeah, true. You aren't afraid to do any move. And with that, a lot of cool nades, moves, and then some new tactics appear, which is true. I mean, if you have a lot of experience, you already know what you can get away with and what peaks you can take without being punished and stuff like that. You know, I've been talking for a while. And when you know you can get punished for a certain move, you don't do it. But on a lower level, hey, I can pick you. I don't know how I might get punished for that. So it's I can understand his point of view when you reach a high level. It's interesting to see the lower level, how they play, and especially if you like the game and love watching it. Okay. Why do you think in some regions only few countries have great results in CSGO? For example, if we take South America, we have only Brazil. If we take far CIS or Middle East, we only have Kazakhstan. Which let me just check something really quickly. I hope my timer is, yeah, it's okay. Okay, I stopped the timer, so there's not gonna be any problems. I'm gonna be right back just to be sure.